What's up, everybody, and welcome to another exciting edition of This Week in Madden Show 192. As you can see tonight, we've got the empty seat because, folks, S. Gibbs is not available tonight. He has moved on to, you'll never believe where he is, but I promise you I'm not lying. S. Gibbs right now is praying at the church of Stanley Havili. He is at the church of Stanley Havili. He's not going to be able to make it. But the good news is we have a great show for you tonight. The first thing I want to get out there is we have brand new Brain Trust content that I will send out to subscribers after this show. We actually have the Boogs Bengals scheme, 15 minutes from the Gun Bunch week in the Bengals playbook. And what it's going to do is give you the 3 best plays from that bunch week, and then also you'll be able to use it in other gun bunch playbooks. There is Bears in Florida, just for the chat. You don't want to sleep on Bears in Florida because they will surprise you. But right now, we've got a big show coming up, good mailbag questions. We've got some new MUD items to review. We're going to talk golden tickets. We're going to talk Madden 17 cover. We're going to cover everything. S. Gibbs, who needs them? We'll just have more fun. From time to time, I'll pipe in with a, what do you think about that, Gibbs? Gibbs, what do you think about you being the worst host on this show that nobody... So, S. Gibbs, the ratings are actually going to go up tonight. We're going to get more views on youtube.com/zfarls tomorrow from this show. The comments are going to be like, you know what? It was kind of nice without Gibbs there. How do you feel about that, Gibbs? You know, Farls, sometimes I just think you're really negative. And if you don't want me to bring my fire plays, and you don't want me to show you my salary cap guys who are monsters, if you don't want to know who the new meta players are in salary cap, if you don't want to know, Farls, well then that's fine. I'll go home. I'll take my baby bottle and I'll go home. All right, Gibbs, whatever you got to do, whatever it takes to get done, that's what we got to do. But we'll have to see how it works out. So I might go back and forth on Z Farls and S. Gibbs. I feel like we can do the show without him. Don't worry about it. Okay, first question in the mailbag is a good one. And we're going to get the link in the chat real quick to Boog's channel. You guys want to head over there, give him a follow. He live streams. He was streaming before this show. So make sure to click that and follow. And we will be exploring his offense in the Brain Trust. But really, really good stuff for all the subs out there. All right, so first things first is if you had a golden ticket, who would you create? So if you had a golden ticket, what would you do? So I think a good idea would be to go over to Mudhead and do that. So let's go see first up what golden tickets have been created. We're going to take a look at this Carson Palmer later in the show. But my issue right now with golden tickets is there's just too many of the same type. So we'll go and look at golden tickets, and I don't blame it, and we've talked a bit about this before. So with golden tickets, if you pull one, you get to make any golden ticket you want. You don't have to make one that the community wants. You don't have to make one at a unique position. You don't have to make one that does a unique skill set. And that is why you see quarterback, halfback, quarterback, corner, quarterback, corner. Basically, you're going to really see a lot of high-end players because when you pull that item, you get that quarterback. So we'll take a look at the chat and see what people want, but it looks like Dibs is voting for a Ronnie Lott CB. I think that would be pretty legit. This Derek Carr actually turned into quite the item. I mean, this Derek Carr's got a little bit of everything. He's nasty. I'd say the Cam Newton's the best that I've used, but to me, if you're a guy and you're looking to make a golden ticket, you can't make it at a position that everybody's made it at. So you've got to change up your thought processes on the golden ticket. I think you utilize either the out-of-position item. You definitely don't make an offensive lineman. I know nobody has. But a position to me that's been overlooked by golden tickets is... And like this Clowney's good, but he's at right end, so he's not a linebacker, so you can't really use him. The answer, and my name is Tad, I would just put it in the chat, is either Julius Peppers, the linebacker version, but his best builds are going to be off end versions, but you want a 6'7" item to use her, Or I think the other option is a tight end. We don't have a tight end really that does it all. I think you build off the boss Gronk and really just make the best tight end in the game. A guy who can be a little bit more dynamic on drags. Not that boss Gronk's really bad in any way, but I think you can just bump up the Gronk and make it really better. I know you guys might have been expecting a creative answer. You might have been expecting me to Gibbs it and rock something pretty crazy, but the Tony Gonzalez would be pretty good because he's already at the route running that you would need. Gibbs, what are your thoughts on making a golden ticket? Farles, I've got a golden ticket for you. You're never going to believe me when I tell you this, but I would make, a Bruce Smith or a Reggie White or some defensive lineman from yesteryear. I would take him. I'd take Bo Allen's haircut. I would take Bo Allen's player model. I'd say, hey, EA Sports, this guy Bo Allen, his haircut, he's a monster. He's a monster. This haircut resets the meta for every single thing at a barbershop that's ever been happened. You've got to allow me to take this Bo Allen, his hair, shave it off, put it on Mean Joe Green, put it on Reggie White, where I can D-line user all game, and nobody will stop me those flowing locks. How do you feel about that, Farles? Do you think that would reset the meta? Gibbs, I think you might be on to something right there. That Bo Allen is pretty serious. He's got a great haircut. You're right about that. He really does, he really is pretty legit. So, good call by Gibbs right there. But if it's me and I'm recreating the golden ticket, what I'm doing is going with, I'm getting a 6-7 user, or I'm making a tight end because there's just not enough tight ends at this point. All right. Next question in the mailbag right now is, how do you stop the double loop 3? And this is from AKA Fox. So Fox is always around, good community guy. He's looking to know how to stop the most recent hot blitz in the community. It is the double loop 3. You can pick it up, but then it will send edge pressure. You can block 6. You can call PA. There's realistically, I don't have the exact setup of what it is, so I haven't specifically labbed against it. But if somebody in the chat has help on how to slow it down, there's 5 things we do to slow down any potential blitz. So let's take a look at what those 5 things are. Because this is a defense I fully expect to see, be a big factor in the Madden challenge. We have tournaments going on. People are running this defense, and it's pretty serious. So we'll try and find something like it. So maybe something like Crossfire. This isn't exactly it, but the idea is you're always going to get a rusher free. And here we'll send an extra guy. So this is not exactly it. It's really hard to slow down. It's no Mike Scrape. Or is it? But what do we do when we're facing a blitz that we have to lab against, have to try and pick it up, and they're going to play the game? First thing we do, we call play action. Hopefully play action can help slow down some of the pressure. With this defense, since the pressure's coming from the linebacker area, that's a pretty tall order. That doesn't always work with this. The second thing we do is we can block the tight end on the line of scrimmage. Anytime you have 6 guys across the line, kind of changes up the blocking. The tight end on the line can actually help get some double teams and hopefully change the way the game blocks. So that's the second option we have. The third thing mixed in with the play action is to just block the halfback. Now that the halfback's not going to do the fake, we'll be able to potentially pick up the pressure better. So now we're blocking 7. We've got PA. We can pinch the line down. We can pinch the line to the right, really depending where the pressure is. You can see Gronk's now going to the right. Gronk's now going to that side of the screen. So those are your options. 3 of your options. The fourth thing you can do is any receiver who's not on the line of scrimmage. We've given this tip a few times before. You can motion him and then snap him in whatever gap the pressure's coming in. He'll sit in the gap. You can then look to go downfield. You've got a user. You've got to playmaker at that point. You want to have a drag as a bailout route. But, this double loop I hear is very, very good. So those are 5 of the things we want to do. We want to start by slide protecting, start by blocking the tight end, start by play action, start by motion snapping. That guy used different formations, and those are your options. Shout out to Who Is Due in the chat, guys. If you guys have top 10 Madden plays, actually not just Madden, but other sports game, if you have an MLB The Show highlight, you've got a hole-in-one in Rory McIlroy. If you have any other sports games action going on, a big play, send it over to Who Is Due. His channel is Good Game Bro, and he's doing a top 10 list. He can link in the chat, and he's got a little submittal if you want to get your clips featured. Shout out to S. Gibbs. Remember, tonight S. Gibbs is at the church of Stanley Havili. Take me to church. S. Gibbs wants to make... Wait, what Gibbs? Gibbs, huh? What's that? Are you here? Let's see. Correction, Farrells, correction. I was totally wrong earlier. While I do love Bo Allen's haircut, and I think it's great, I gotta go back on my decision. There's another guy out here in the community that is an absolute monster. He is a monster. So I'm going to go with Stanley Havili. This guy right here, I mean, he can play fullback. But Gibbs, you don't use a fullback at all in any of your packages? You actually never run the ball? First, it doesn't matter if I never run the ball. I don't care if I pass every down. Havili's got 84 route running. Do you know how that good that is for a halfback? For a fullback? Whatever the guy is, I don't even care. But Stanley Havili is an absolute monster. He rechanges the meta. Put him at tight end. Put him on a boat. Put him in your dryer. Put him on your roof. He'll stop all the leaks. He'll pick up the pressure. He'll do everything. You know, I think Havili's the guy I would make the golden ticket of. I wouldn't even make him better, though. I'd actually make him a little bit worse, because that's the opposite of the meta. That will change the game, and I'm S. Gibbs. Thank you, Gibbs, for that insight. I like the idea of making him worse, not better. I think that's a pretty good idea. So, yeah, good move, and we'll have to see if it works out for you. Maybe you'll get a golden ticket. Hopefully you're signed up for MUT Rewards, but hopefully maybe you're not. I don't know. All right, more questions coming up in the mailbag tonight, and we've got some good ones. So those are 5 ways you can stop pressure. We'll look for a serious actual setup to stop double loop through or to see what works against it. I'll have to be watching and reviewing more games because I watched some tournament games this weekend, but I didn't fully see it. So as I start to see how people are picking it up, how people are defending it, we will make sure we add any setups in if it becomes the next big defense. All right. Relentless. He wants to know, he's got a Lawrence Taylor on defense, and he says, can running or pass giving, A, what do they do, and B, can they fix my Lawrence Taylor on play action? So, yes, they can. You've asked a good question here. This is something we went over at the beginning of the season, but I think it's super important to remember, especially because we don't want to assume that everybody, always remembers every setup and does everything the right way. So what you'll see here is we're going to send 6 guys, and it doesn't matter really who you're sending. We'll actually send an extra guy here. And so what happens is if we call play action and Tom Brady has a good fake, what we'll do is snap the ball. I think we're in play action. The blitzer coming off the edge, he will go after the halfback. And so our opponent has Lawrence Taylor in there. I'm in the 46 defensive book. He has a Lawrence Taylor. He probably spent good coins on him, and he's now thinking, well, man, I spent on this Lawrence Taylor, and he's now not making plays. He's going after the halfback. Is there anything I could do to make him not do that? So the good news is if it's a true passing down situation, you hold down the left trigger on defense. You flick the right stick up. That's going to pass commit. And what that will do is now your defenders, when they get in the backfield, they will not go after the halfback. They will go straight to the quarterback. Now, it can backfire as if you pass commit. So obviously this guy got off the block. But instead of Jarrell Casey here being interested at all in the halfback, say he was coming in, he just goes straight to Brady. Doesn't even have to slow down, doesn't have to look, doesn't have to do anything. So that's the move. But the problem becomes, say you pass commit here, you're gonna potentially get blown up in the run game. I mean, this defense, we're kind of rushing a lot of dudes, but you're much weaker in the run game if you pass commit. So it's a habit we've gotten away from. I personally feel like the penalty for pass committing wasn't a big enough penalty in previous years of the games, but this year it feels like just about right. You really don't want to run commit because run commit sends everybody, and it's kind of too much sometimes unless you think it's 3rd and 1 and you know it. But if it's just a pass play and it's 3rd and 15, they're really not going to run the ball, and even if they do, they can get 10 and you're okay with that, then you want to pass commit. Or if they're running a lot of play action and you're sending a free guy in off the edge, you want to pass commit. He will totally avoid the halfback because you're telling him to before the snap, and you'll be good to go. And that will save your LT. It's one of the best items in the game. Don't do anything drastic with them. Make sure to get it done. This one is from M. Ole, or M. Mole. He wants to know, does the campus hero Dre Archer feel faster than CJ2K? So this is, kind of one of the things we look at every single year as early Madden 17 sleeper teams. And the Jets now signed Archer. So the Jets picked him up. And, he's going to have probably 96 speed next year. He's not going to be good, but the Jets are now always going to have this guy as their backup, one of their options to throw in there. So if you utilize the Jets next year, they still have Brandon Marshall. They're looking like the Bills got him, not the Jets. So it's the Bills. Okay, good call. So the Bills already pretty good team with Tyrod Taylor and now Archer mixed in. Does he feel faster than CJ2K? I haven't used him in game. I mean, he's pretty small, but got it. This dude can fly, 79 route running is not the best, but if you just need a straight guy for tosses, what's his carry up to now? His carry's up to 94. I mean, that was kind of the one knock on him, is that he would probably fumble once every 2 games or so, and you just had to kind of avoid the big hits. But this item gets him pretty good here. The Chris Johnson, you figure he'd be a little bit of a smaller guy and get better animations, but if we're looking at the Bills for next year now, if Sammy Watkins goes up a little more, you get him as a 3rd down back. He's just a guy you want buried in your bench, potentially, And, you get him in, say, a CFM, and you start to build him up a little bit. This is a guy you can feel confident with. You can't teach that speed. Can't teach the speed, and that's what's going to make the Archer good. As to feeling faster than CJ2K, there's thoughts on, body types, and, I personally feel like the Cam Newton, to me, felt faster than Michael Vick at quarterback, even though they're pretty similar with their, between the Vic Ultimate Legend, the boss version, and the Cam Newton Golden Ticket. The Cam felt faster, even though he probably isn't. So I don't know what accounts for that, but I definitely feel certain players, and that's why you got to really test them. All right, this next one is from 7 Cities. He wants to know, Barr or Woodley, is speed everything? So he's talking about positional hero Anthony Barr. So he's talking about a 6'5" defender with 95 speed versus Lamar Woodley, who has 90 speed, but every single categorical advantage. He's got better pursuit, better tackle, better block shed, similar to what this Brian Arakpo does. This Brian Arakpo is super strong, good play rec, good strength, good block shed, good pursuit. He's going to mix it up. So Gibbs, is usering important for, or who's a better player, right? Because technically they have the same excel, or Barr's got a little better excel, but is speed the only thing that matters? You know what, Farls? You can rag on me, man. You can rag on me all you want, but I'm just here to say that, you got a guy, Anthony Barr, 6'5", absolute monster. So Lamar Woodley, yeah, he's got 90 speed, and he might be better, but he doesn't fit the meta. He doesn't fit the meta of a guy like we saw, problem right, roam in the middle with the football outsiders, 92 speed Anthony Barr, making plays, user picks, all that. big stuff right there. I got to go Anthony Barr. Even though I've never used a middle linebacker a day in my life, you know I'm a D-line user. My name's S. Gibbs. That's where I'm at. You know, you might say Lamar Woodley. You might think that. But I got to go Anthony Barr. 6'5". 6'5". That's where I'm at. That's where I sit on this. Guy's a monster. Monster. All right, so Gibbs is going to go with the Anthony Barr. The question to me is, who's better? It depends on the role, right? So there are certain items in the game, like the Carlos Dansby middle linebacker that just plays pretty well. There's a Luke Kuechly. Clay Matthews has always played well. If you're not going to user control them, you have to go with either Carlos Dansby or Lamar Woodley or Luke Kuechly, any guy like that with 95 to 97 play rec. James Laurinaitis, even if you're sacrificing speed, but if you have that zone coverage in the middle, it would be pretty good. Now, the Anthony Barr is kind of the exception to the rule. People say, like, does speed matter? Is speed the only thing that's important? If you have a 95, like Nate Askew, right? So Nate Askew, absolute monster, salary cap legend, Nate Askew, my second favorite user in the game behind Stanley Havili. Yes, Gibbs, Nate Askew, the 67 overall bronze, 93 speed middle linebacker. You know, you can run around with him. He's pretty fast. He's pretty tall. 6'4", I tell you. 6'4", that man is. He'll run around. He'll make plays. I promise you, Nate Askew, I'll get you in one today for just 7 cap value. How do you feel about that, Falls? I feel pretty good about the Nate Askew. It's pretty good. But, yeah, you've got to come up with a defensive scheme. So right here, right, like Brian Arakpo, you can throw him off the edge, and he'll stay there. He'll hold up in the run game. You don't have to user him, basically, even though he is 6'4", Gibbs. I'll give you that. And then you've got Woodyard. So Woodyard, super fast, but not the best athletically. This is a guy you have to user control to get the most value out of. That's something we've been teaching for a long time. Anthony Barr really is an exception because he has the hip power. He has the height. I'm sure some of his newer versions have, like, catch, probably. Anthony Barr is the guy. If you're going to use her. If you're not going to use her, Barr, he hasn't made a ton of plays for me, and he might almost be too fast. But remember, this isn't Madden where speed's the only thing that matters anymore. It's like a lot of things matter, and it depends on the role so specifically, and that's why you see so many people focusing so much on cap value and how to do it, how to tweak their lineups, how to get the most out of everything, how to find, you know, good value at every position. Speaking of good value at every position, Falls, how about a man, John Randall? Not Hall of Famer John Randall, but the strongest version. Imagine if John Randall went to college and just said, I'm going to eat protein shakes, and I'm just going to go to the gym and do the bench press every single day. And that John Randall version, 20 years later, got a mud item, and it had 99 strength, and it was just an absolute monster in the run game. How about that? How about... Yes, Gibbs, just like that. That John Randall with just the strength. He's a great run-stuffing defender. I agree. He's a guy you got to have in your salary cap lineup. We talked last week, those legends, those ultimate legends, are speed versions, Des Bryant, strength versions. John Randall? John Randall. All those guys have value in salary cap ranks because they don't cost a lot. No, they don't cost a lot. That John Randall's only about 24 stacks, and he's probably the best run-stuffing D-line guy in the game. Sets the meta. Sets the meta back there. I'm with you, Gibbs. I agree. I think you got to get those guys in your lineup. They'll be excellent for you because they're specialized. So with a guy like Woodley, he's not super specialized. He's just more athletic, more like awareness-based, more pursuit-based, more play rec-based. Not necessarily the raw physical skills like the guy. So hopefully that works for you. And Barr if you use her, Woodley if you don't use her. Speed's not everything anymore. But for a user defender, 6'5" with 95 speed, like, doesn't get any better. So that's the one thing you could do. All right, next question in the mailbag is from Big Slow 17. Wants to know, when can we see the Madden 17 cover? So, good question. I saw some videos on Twitter. 3 guys you want to follow. 3 guys you want to follow. QJB, Anto the Boss, Toke Nasty. Tomorrow on YouTube, Thursday, if you're watching this on youtube.com/cfarles, you will want to check their channels, I think at 7 p.m. They have some special content. So they put out some teaser videos. They have some really cool stuff. And those are the guys I'm going to follow. That's the only real news I have on it, is just to follow those community guys. And we'll have to see. I know they had announced that they were going to announce it later in the week, so we'll have to stay tuned to that. But make sure to follow those guys, as they had some really cool videos going on today. All right. Next question is from White Mammoth. He wants to know, who are some essential players for Big Dime and then the Cleveland offense for 300K? So if anybody in the chat wants to help out with this one, 300,000 coins to spend. Who are some guys that you can use for the Big Dime or the Cleveland offense? Let's see. All right, Farles, let me log into my computer here. I've got some ideas. Ooh, Stephen Gilmore right here. He's got 99-man coverage. That is monstrous. 60 stacks. What if I get you into Stephen Gilmore with 99-man coverage? Be that number 1 corner for you. How do you feel about that, Farles? Dropping keyboards over here, Farles? Yes. All right. Next guy up that's essential in the Big Dime 146. Nate Askew, Farles. Nate Askew. If we're talking salary cap, we're talking Nate Askew. Have you ever heard of Nate Askew, Farles? Indeed, Gibbs, I have. Tell me about him, though, just because. Humor me. Well, I could get you into a Nate Askew 93 speed. You user him over the middle in the Big Dime 146, and he's a monster, Farles. 6 cap value. How about that? How would that make you feel? Make me feel pretty good, Gibbs. All right, so that's what S. Gibbs is thinking. But seriously, what you have to do, I don't know what just happened. Okay. 3 guys. There's 3 big guys that you need for the Big Dime. You need a cover linebacker. There's a new rookie that came out that somebody had on their roster that I don't know what his name is. But if somebody could help me think to the draft rookies, there's a new rookie that came out who's similar to Christian Kirksey, similar to Derek Brooks. He's got like 80-man coverage and 92 speed. He's a middle linebacker. You want to get that guy because he's going to be pretty inexpensive. You want to get a good user over the middle. I would say, I'm trying to think of like the best. I'd say the 92. Not Miles Jack is another guy. Not that Miles Jack is bad. Could be Lee. Last name could be Lee. So Campus Hero Casillas you could use is an option, but you want to get a user defender in the middle. So what you need is this guy right here to be your Casillas, to be your rookie guy we're talking about, Lee or Jack, and then you need the user the bar right here. At this position, you need a man corner, potentially 99. This guy here, potentially 99. I'd say you want 95 speed minimum with 94 man. You want a Tremaine Johnson. You want a Pat Pete draft champs, a Joe Hayden draft champs potentially, if we're trying to save some coins. Those are the guys. You want free safety with 92 speed, 92 zone, 90 play rec min. There's 2 rookies out there that are pretty good. Those are the guys you want at strong and free safety. D-line, you want 3 guys. You want the strongest guy you can find. Yes, Gibbs, the strength version of John Randall, perhaps. You want Ian Williams, probably here, and then you want who's good here? I like Terrell Suggs here, but he's a little pricey. But I think you could get into Lawrence Taylor for $78K. That's pretty good value for what you get right there. There's also going to be cheap versions of Von Miller at this point in the season. There's also some other good campus heroes. The Armstead's pretty good. And then this guy you want to have good acceleration because you're going to spy this guy most of the time. You want him to be 6'5" or taller, so that he clogs the lane when he drops back. And then you want him to have good accel, so when you right-click and send the spy, he's super fast. So those are your options for 300,000 for the big dime. Offensively, you want to get the new Danny Woodhead. There's a brand new Danny Woodhead that is out. Good route runner. Almost as good as Stanley Havili-Gibbs. Yep, you're right. And you want 2 halfbacks. Maybe get the cheap Marshall Faulk. You want a drag receiver who's got 97 speed or so. You want a one-on-one downfield catcher like the Kelvin Benjamin throwback. And then you want a tight end who can run routes. Jordan Reed, Travis Kelce. You would aim for 92 route running or higher. So those are your options when you go after that big dime lineup. All right. Next question in the mailbag from Verbal718. How important is wide receiver strength rating? And he is asking this question from a perspective of not just blocking, but if Brandon LaFell runs this in pattern right here and throws it right there, does his strength have anything to do with him bodying out a guy for the ball? Do you feel like his strength factors in where he cuts in, shields the guy off? Is that just animation based? Does that have anything to do with strength? Does it improve his catch in traffic? How can strength help a receiver? What he noticed is that he started using Steve Smith, and Steve Smith was making lots and lots of plays. So, number one, I think the most important thing for receivers and their strength and tight ends too is run block. Are they going to get upfield? Number 62 right there, Wendell. He's got the strength in this matchup. He gets the good run block animation with his run block rating, but you'll see 62 gets to the second level, and he just drives back. He wins the strength rating. He's going against Woodyard, who, remember, we said fast, but lacks kind of block shed, so he doesn't shed this block. Also lacks strength, so he doesn't push back into Wendell and tie his matchup. Whereas, let's see, Casey kind of pushes in a little bit because Casey has real good strength. Generally, it's going to be a stalemate. You see, this is pretty similar. Hill maybe has slight advantage there, but that's what the strength ends up matching with. Then you've got block shed, which helps mean that they're not going to shed their block if they have good run block. Generally, receivers that have good strength have good catch in traffic. Just thinking off the top of my head, right? A guy like Anquan Bolden, good catch in traffic. A guy like Brandon Marshall, good catch in traffic. Because they have strength in real life, they're known for being guys that go big and can hang on to the rock. So I would say the correlation between strength and catch in traffic is common. And so that's one thing you're going to see. And that's the reason Steve Smith makes plays. He hangs on to the rock. I consider spec and catch and traffic about equal when you go downfield and throw one-on-one. I look at those two ratings. Are you going to go up with spec, and then are you going to hang on with catch and traffic? So Steve Smith's always had pretty good spec in the first place. He's kind of a sleeper, even though he's not that tall. He's stronger than you would think. He has BCA version with 90 off the bat, and then he has got good spec and catch and traffic. So he's feisty in the first place, even though he's not that big of a guy. That height's not as important this year. So that's why you're seeing it from Steve Smith. It's not really going to be attributed to strength, but it can't hurt. I've noticed strength can never really hurt you unless you're Bo Jackson and you break so many tackles that you run backwards because you've broken too many tackles. That happens too. Before we get into the next mailbag question, guys, reminder that in the Brain Trust tonight after the show for subscribers to the channel, OG_Bugs on Twitch. You want to make sure you follow him. Seagarell can put the link in the chat. to his Bengals scheme, guys. It's 15-minute video of him going over 3 plays from the Bengals offense, breaking it down. Some really, really good content, and I think you're going to like it. I know you're going to like it. I actually really like it, and I'm glad he was able to get the video out to us. So if you're subbed, make sure to check your inbox after the show. But please follow his channel, as we'll throw the link in the chat. If you're watching on YouTube, tomorrow, youtube.com/zfarles. Make sure to go to twitch.tv/OG_bugs and tell him you thank him for his work. All right, next question in the mailbag. This one's coming from Quick Frost. Wants to know, how about division relocation in CFM? So we don't take a ton of CFM questions, but we definitely play. And I saw that Rex, you guys all know Rex at this point. If you don't know Rex Dixon, obviously a great follow on Twitter, as he's one of the main guys on Madden. He had tweeted to follow John White, who is at EA_White. So according to Rex, you want to follow at EA_White if you have CFM questions. You can always hit up the community guys, the Shot Masters, the Mad Scientists, but definitely pose this question, Quick Frost, over to at EA_White. I think relocation would be awesome. There's nothing like, having a power conference. I believe you used to be able to relocate in NCAA football. You could kind of move the conferences all around and mix it up. So then you could put all your favorite teams in one division. Gibbs, maybe we could actually get some good teams in the AFC East for once to actually give your Patriots a run for their money. No way, kid. Come on, the AFC East is pretty tough. The Bills, yeah, they haven't been great for the last 10 years. The Jets, come on, they haven't been great for the last 10 years. And, whatever that other team is, I don't even know. I don't really watch the games. I just like Tom Brady so much, and I just want to thank him for everything. Tom Brady is, my 3rd tattoo that I ever got. I got the Dodopotamus when I turned 18, and then once we won our 4th chip, I basically got the Tom Brady the next week. So that's the 3rd tattoo I got. I'm up to 17 right now, but that's where I'm at. So I just wanted to say go Pats. I don't really know why I'm here, but that's all I got for you, Falls. All right, thanks. All right, Gibbs, relocation would be cool. That way we could all kind of play in a CFM, mix it up, and good move. So hit up your CFM feedback to at EA_White. Next question in the mailbag. This one is from Reggie. He wants to know, it's also from Primetime, similar question this week. How does the 46 work? What's the lineup look like? What are the ratings that are important? And what do you think? So real quick, we'll take a look at a salary cap lineup breakdown. If you guys have salary cap lineups you want to see us break down, just send them over. This was an offense for the Titans, though, that Primetime built. He's a new player this year, and I like what he's done so far. We gave him some recommendations on stream the other night, so make sure to follow the channel. On defense, the 46, this is what he's working with so far. Obviously a zone coverage style lineup. Sean Lee, great zone defender, good play rec. Same thing with Levante David. Same thing with Barron and Buchanan. Buchanan's a good user across the middle. Good speed. Mack drops down to rush. Suggs will hold up the line. Brown's good. Jones is good. And then a good mix of zone-style corners. Revis, a little bit more of a man guy, but he plays zone very, very well. So that way he could switch it up. But good for, because if this guy switches to the dime from the 46, which is a little bit more of like a common trade-off, that's what you want to go with. But if we look at the 46, you're going to see that it's basically like a 4-3. So you're going to end up having pretty similar 4-3 style players. So we have one D-end, Jarrell Casey, and this is a guy you need to be good. We're specifically looking at the 46 Bear for right now. But you've got 46 Bear mixed in. So you have one end. You want this guy to be strong because you're kind of weak to the left, so this guy's really got to hold up the edge. Then you got a DT here, and a DT here, and a D end here. So these are your four linemen. Then you have your 3 linebackers. This is your right outside linebacker, Brian Arakpo. All-pro, according to the Geico commercial, all-pro linebacker, Brian Arakpo. Excuse me. Then you have a middle linebacker, and then you have your left outside linebacker. So I think where people's minds get messed up is we just showed you the whole 4-3 part of the 4-3, the front 7. It's just that everything's shifted over in this bear. Then the next thing is your strong safety drops down and goes to the left side of the screen, which can throw people off. And then you have your free safety here, and then 2 corners. So it's a classic style 4-3. But you can RB sub some guys in, but you can only really sub in linebackers. And so what I would recommend here is Derek Morgan's a good pass rusher, so he's actually a pretty good guy to have right there. Woodyard's decent across the middle with his speed. You probably want to use him. And then Arakpo is the edge guy. He can rush, and then he can also hold up in the run game. So the Titans are actually a pretty good team for 46. But, back in the day, I think even just last year, Gibbs ran wall stunt. And let's see where kind of everybody lined up and where we might want to adjust. Let's see. Call a play, send some dudes out on some routes, and see if we can mix it up. So, you guys want me to do my S. Gibbs impression? Farls, give the controller to a real boy over here. I'm S. Gibbs. I'm going to run you through this wall stunt play. This is a defense I used to go well over 500 last year. Not 500 wins, just 500. One more than I lost. Not many people out there can say that. Actually, only about half of people out there can say that. So I'm going to take you through a little setup I like to do from the 46 defense last year. We'll see if it works this year. See if we can kind of sketch out a new meta here on This Week in Madden Show 192. Appreciate the follows on the channel. Now, what you might see here is a little bit advanced. What we're going to do is actually take this Vexicon, move it here. We're going to tap down here, move him, shift him out. We got to shift him out. Give me 7 seconds, and then we're going to move him here. We're going to stack him here. We're going to user, and the heat comes in, and I have created the newest blitz. That is the best in the game. I promise you that this heat right here is dynamic. Let me actually slow that down, though. I know I went a little fast right there. Sorry, I get excited when I have screamers coming in off the edge. So let's review that in a little bit of a slower motion. So starting here, we're going to take this guy. We're going to drop him outside. We're going to move him. Then we're going to re-blitz, and then we're going to global left, and then we're going to global right, and then we're going to go over here, and then we're going to go over here, and then we're going to go to Iowa, then we're going to go to Arkansas, then we're going to go to New Hampshire, then we're going to go to Iowa, and then we're going to go, woo! Oh, and then you send the screen, and then boom, the pressure comes in. That's double. That's both ways. Guys, that is both ways. And that's what we're looking for here. Little live lab session here on This Week in Madden. We might have just invented something right here. So, this wall stunt, we used to run it, it's not something else. But we're trying to send it both ways. We're going to move. We're going to here, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3. Oh my God. Okay, we're going to shift to the line. Oh, we forgot the baseline. And then we're going to go here, and then we got to send it both ways. Double heaters off the edge. And I think I just recreated this nasty heat. And Forrest, block a halfback for me. All right, yeah, let's see. Let's see if we can get it to come in. And we're going to carry the 2, and then we're going to carry the 4, and then we're going to tip our waitress at least 20%. If we can just get the math done, let me open up my iPhone calculator. And, okay, looks like it's going to be this, and let's see what happens if we send it here. Oh, yeah. National Live Internet, folks. National Live Internet. Just handcrafted a blitz. You never know what you're going to get. A little live lab session here. And, Farls, my work here's done. I don't know what else to tell you. Well, Farls, Gibbs, that was a pretty nice blitz right there. Looked like you really gassed them up, as you might say. And the interwebs are storming right now. But all we really did on that play was this. We were sending a lot of guys. But we were basically user in the middle. Send in 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Get 2 free. Nope. Send in 7. It's too many. Give me a second here, Farls. We're sending 7. Give me a second here, Farls. Let's see what happens if we do this, huh? And this is where you guys got to do the rest of the research. I showed you a play that's okay, but now it's your job to take it and make it way better. So we're gonna see what maybe we contain. Maybe we try this, and let's see. And there we go. It still comes in off the edge, and we're looking pretty good right there. So, you know, I'm gonna leave it up to you guys. Make it more economical. Yeah, let's. What if I do this? And baseline for me, Falls. Baseline. Show Falls. You show blitz. What? No. Why wouldn't you press Falls? All right. Never mind. Let me see. Let's see if we maybe stand right here. Okay. Boom. Okay. All right. So it didn't come in there, but you know we got it with 6. You know I'll let you guys see. We get it with 5. We get it with 4. It's all good, but we're looking at the big dime right here, or excuse me. What's good is it translates well to dime, this defense, because you have the 4-3, so you just change out the 2 LBs for CBs. And that's pretty much how the 46 works. What's good about it is you can quickly RB to the right and get this guy to blitz. You know, you got the slot option to slide out if you want. You can stand here. I'm sure we get pressure. Ooh, okay, B gap. Okay, B gap. National Live Interwebs, anything can happen. Little B gap screaming. So we'll see. Let's try that again. All right, edge. But yeah, maybe you do that, and we'll let you get more economical as it goes, and hopefully that gives you a little bit better look at to what the 46 is like and takes away some of the mystery. Now, the bare front here just means that you have these 3 guys. You have the D end on the right of screen, the 2 DTs, and they are one-on-one. So each of these 3 guys are directly over an offensive lineman. Guard, center, guard. That's a bare front. That's why it's called the bare. Guard, center, guard. But the problem is you might notice, like, if they run left, this is probably not a great defense for inside zone. You'd have to probably blitz him and then use her here against inside zone, because otherwise they could just break it off the left side. But the left side gets weak, and that's the problem. So it was a fire defense, man. This defense right here, problem ran this to perfection. Madden 12. Madden 13. Madden 13, this was the D. This was the absolute best defense in the game, in my opinion, Madden 13. And I bet it will make a return eventually. So we'll have to keep an eye out for that. Next question in the mailbag. This one is, let's see who it's coming in from, folks. Computer's slowing down from all the excitement. Too much magic going on screen. Too much on-screen chemistry between me, Z Farrells, and my host, S Gibbs 7. All right, next mailbag question. Check 1, 2, 3. We've got it coming in. Remember to follow the channel, folks. Follow that channel. All right. From Blue Sports 18, I need the best all-around budget quarterback for Mutt. So, who is the best all-around budget QB for Mutt? I got this one, Farrells. Let me hop over on my computer here. Let me pop it in. Let's see. I'm going to go with Campus Blake Bortles. I think he is indeed the guy. I think I can get you. What if I told you I could get you into Blake Bortles for $20K, Farrells? Farrells, how would you feel if I told you I could get into a Blake Bortles for $20K? How would that feel, Farrells? Would you like that? I mean, he's no Stanley Havili, but a Blake Bortles. Gibbs, I think the Blake Bortles is the guy. The Marcus Mariota. How much is the Marcus Mariota running nowadays? I guess that's kind of the real question. Is if the Mariota is way more than the Bortles, then you can't really say that he's a great value. But the Eli Manning Team of the Week is good. This is not just salary cap. This is Ultimate Team too. 93 Stafford's very good also. The Derek Carr is actually pretty good, although the new one kind of makes the other one feel like. But I think the Bortles will get the job done. Unless you want traits, then you go Eli Manning. And Flashback Vic, I don't think Flashback Vic is the guy. I think for salary cap he's maybe the guy, but I don't think for where the game is right now at this moment that he is the guy. So you can go up to Mariota if you want. Still the dude. But don't sleep on this new campus Bortles. Don't sleep on the Kirk Cousins, though. And don't sleep on, as Ryu's saying in the chat, the Jameis Winston. And there's also a Tony Romo. That's pretty reasonable, too. So you've got good options at quarterback. That's not a spot that people like. All right, here we go. Next question in the mailbag. This one is from Steeltown. What are the most important factors to be successful in salary cap ranked? So salary cap ranked is obviously a new mode. You got to work on your lineup. You got to find value. To me, the most important thing you can do in salary cap ranked is get value in your lineup and tank in the positions you don't need items, and then figure out the best, the actual ratings you need to a T. If you don't need route running at halfback, if you don't run routes with your halfback, then don't pay any extra for route running. If you don't play man coverage, you can't pay for a guy who's balanced in both areas. You really have to build towards one thing pretty extreme. Like, you can't build a balanced team and expect it to be as good as a team that's super specialized, in my opinion. Like, you can't just, sometimes I like to run, sometimes I like to pass. Let me get Lamar Miller. Let me get 3 receivers just in case. Like, yeah, I only run 3 receivers sometimes, but like, no, that doesn't really exist. If you really run 2 receivers 90% of the time, then you can't pay extra for that 3rd receiver, and you need to trim down your budget. I'm gonna put you on a budget, and it's gonna be super, super important. Find value in great places. Schefter stars. Find value at fullback. Find value at tight end, or find tank at tight end. The other big thing, and we're talking a little bit about it in the chat right now on twitch.tv/Madden Tips, that's why you YouTube folks should watch live, is it's much, 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 much cheaper to play zone coverage in salary cap because you don't need the speed. With man coverage, you need speed, and speed is expensive. You can play quarters 3 deep, play zone coverage, and get more bang for your buck because a guy with 95 speed and 99 zone works better than a guy with 95 speed but 99 man, in my opinion. So I think running a zone style defense where you're only paying for 4 quarters, four secondary players, so 2 safety, 2 corner, and you're just paying for guys that have, like, say, 94 speed, 98 zone or higher, like, with good hit power, you're running that quarter street deep, possibly in 3-4 combo. Like, that's because it's so zone heavy what's the most affordable. And so I think players that... I don't think you should change your game to play that. Like, I think the game's still pretty balanced, but I just think that gives you a 51... If it was a coin flip, I'd give you a 51% chance instead of 49 if you played man. Even though I think man's better, I think 51%, you get a little bit better lineup value-wise from zone. It's just a little, like, it's not going to make a bad player good. It's not going to make a good player bad, but I think it's an important factor to consider to see, because the lineup, you only get 1,000 points, man. You really got to find value in every single spot. Gibbs, we'll talk about the meta after this, I promise. All right. Next question in the mailbag is strength versus block shed for run-stopping middle linebacker. So if you have a middle linebacker, what Philly Chew's seeing is you have a guy like, say, Brian Arakpo, super strong, and he's